Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust, from the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty. This is the show that will help you save and make the most money when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty of Florida, Rick Kendrick.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, it's Christmas Eve, Carrie. What do you think?
I know. How exciting. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's been great. Hey, Carrie, nobody knows who plays behind the scene, okay? And our producer, the producer, and the one and only, Sharina, has been with us all through this game and really helped us out through this part of learning how to do a radio show. So good morning, Sharina. Thank you.
Thank you.
She has done excellent for us, and she helps us out through this. And she tells us, hey, listen, you need to be touching base on things that really people are interested in. And that's what I like, is because that's what we've been trying to do. So we try to stay in tune with people as far as what's happening on the market. But again, it's Christmas Eve, so you got all your Christmas shopping done?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, not me. I'm the kind of guy that waits till
You're the last minute guy, huh?
I'm the one that's going to be in there in about 2 hours in the mall shopping around. So anyway, it's cool to be able to sit down and kind of just relax and reflect on what's been going on this past year and what happened in the market and what is going on in the market. And the next two shows, we're going to talk and reflect on what happened this past 12 months and kind of look at what's going to be going on, what the trends are for our next show. A lot of people kind of just sit back and relax, but we've been very busy. And I think, when we look at our market, in particular, Palm Beach, Martin, Port St. Lucie, and now we're spilling over into the Fort Pierce area, it's been pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our business is up this year, although that's not what a lot of agents are experiencing across the country. That mainly is due to lack of inventory, right? So there hasn't been as many home sellers putting their places on the market. And so that has basically stalled out the number of sales that are occurring in the market. Like year to date, for instance, our market, we're actually down 18% in terms of the number of sales that have occurred in 2023 versus last year in 2022.
Mm-hmm. And we're still not forgetting the days of the interest rates when they were 2 and 3%, right? And now the norm is at 6, 7, and it peaked to 8%. Am I right, Carrie?
Yeah, so the interest rates have had the biggest impact, I'd say, this past year for the real estate market, if we're reflecting on what's occurred this year. When the interest rates started rising, that really sort of put the brakes on both the home buyers and the home sellers.
What it was is that they just got slammed. The door hit them behind them, right? They were accustomed to this 2 and 3%, and then things started tightening up on a national level as far as the market is concerned. Inflation started heading up, and everybody started kind of just getting crazy here.
Yeah, so when the rates got up to, close to 8%, those homeowners who were able to take advantage of the historically low interest rates that had occurred during the COVID years, those folks are at 3-4% their rates. So no way were they selling their house and trading into a 7.5-8% rate.
And not to kind of focus on interest rates, but it is one of the factors that affect the market. But we know the interest rates are rising. You're not used to this, but the big thing you got to understand is that what you're buying is an asset, and this asset is going to continue to increase in value, right, Carrie?
Yeah, so what happens, right, is whenever the interest rates started rising, the prices started to basically go down. So even if you're looking at the trend line for the median sales price since the beginning of the year, so we started in January, the median sales price was $450, and now it's $470. which is a 6% increase from the beginning of the year. But at one point over the summer, the median price had actually got to $495. Yeah. And so you can see as soon as that interest rate started to get close to 8, the median sales price basically just went down.
Yeah. What you do is you date the rate and marry the home. But so anyway, you want to keep that in mind because and it just shows right now, right, Carrie? So in January, what were interest rates, roughly speaking?
So they were in that 6.5%, 6 to 6.5% rate.
So in March, they started inching up, right? 6.7.
Yeah, over the summer, I'd say they started, increasing pretty rapidly. I mean, it took a pretty dramatic turn, upward. And we got at one point to, just under 8%. And that was extremely shocking to folks who had 3 and 4% rates on their mind.
But the factor is that inventories are still out there. What it did do is it opened up the sellers. They opened up their door a little bit to the buyers and say, hey, buyers, listen, we can sit down, we can negotiate. I can give you some terms that's favorable for you to buy my house. So it not only helped the buyers, but also helped the sellers, because a lot of sellers today have, if you've owned this house more than 3 or 4 years, you got a lot of equity, right?
Yeah. So to combat the rise in rates, the sellers kind of got creative. They were willing to give closing cost concessions so that the buyer was able to buy down the rate. And of course, we did see a lot of interest rate incentives from the home builders to try to incentivize the buyers to buy their product.
We work as a team, right, Carrie? We have outside salespeople and also inside salespeople. We got Michael, we got Eves, we got Amelia, we got Andre, are our outside salespeople. They are constantly not only educating our people, but showing them the opportunities available from a buyer standpoint to go ahead and move forward as opposed to waiting. And we sit down with our buyers. We have a 40-minute consultation. We go over exactly what they're looking for. More importantly, we make sure that when we start showing them houses that they've been pre-approved and ready to go. Also, in our second segment, we're going to dial up Eric Rosemary with Cross Country Mortgage, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the interest rate, what's happening out there. But is there any last words you got as far as what's going on in the market and what we have happening?
There's various predictions out there as far as what's going to end up happening in 2024 as far as the rates are concerned. But assuming that they do end up going on the decline, right, that could potentially make the prices increase. So if you are considering a sale in 2024, it'd be best to explore your options sooner rather than later, because if the rates do start coming down, what happens is the prices go up. So you want to go ahead and get into the market now if you can pull it off and you can afford the payment.
And first-time buyers, it's still out there. There are still opportunities for you to take advantage of.
Yeah, so if you are in a situation where you're in need of down payment assistance or closing cost assistance, we do have the Hometown Heroes program that is available to you. Also, Palm Beach County has recently allocated more funds for the SHIP program, all right, which actually the application portal to take advantage of up to $100,000 in assistance through Palm Beach County Housing Development is this week on Wednesday, December 27th. So the application portal does open at 8 a.m. for that. So if that's something that you want to know more about, reach out to us quickly so that you'll be able to get in on those funds as well.
And when's that come out?
So the application portal actually opens on December 27th at 8 a.m. Right. It's only going to be open for a short window, but they're anticipating the funds to go pretty quickly. So
yeah, that's going to be very strong. Going to be a lot of opportunities for buyers to be able to take advantage of that. Just to let you know, we're out there every day talking to buyers and sellers, educating them on what's happening in the market. So sellers, if you're thinking about maybe making a move here, this is the time when you start thinking about it. Carrie, as well as I do, this past week, we've actually been very busy because we have a lot of sellers who are planning on putting their house on the market next month. And they didn't want to do it during the Christmas holidays, but they want to do it in January. So we have 16 key items that come into play. It takes about a week or 2 weeks before we actually put it out on that open market. So sellers, if you're thinking about maybe making a move, just give me a call. I'll take a look at your place, give you some tips to what to do and what not to do. But more importantly, sit down with you, kind of go over all your closing costs and put a strategy together if you're looking at buying something else. If you're thinking about doing something like that, why don't you give me a call at 561-901-3333. That's 561-901-3333. It's rickhasthebuyers.com. This is Rick Kendrick, your home sold guaranteed realty. We'll be right back.
To schedule an appointment with Rick Kendrick to help you buy or sell your home, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Rick will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on News Talk 850 WFTL.
If you're thinking of selling your home, please do yourself a favor. Call my friend Rick Kendrick from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty of Florida. Hi, it's Jennifer. Maybe you want to avoid the time and the details of a traditional sale. Rick can make you an immediate cash offer. All you have to do is text him your address to 561-901-3333, and you'll receive 3 competing offers instantly. But if you go the traditional way, Rick guarantees to sell your home, or he'll buy it himself for cash. When Rick and Pat first met Rick Kendrick, they had no intention of putting their home on the market. They've been trying to sell it on and off for the past couple of years. But then they sat down with Rick Kendrick and they listened to his marketing plan to get their home sold. So Rick and Pat decided to give it one more try. They hired my friend, and they're glad they did. And their home sold in 14 days at 96% of the asking price. Call Rick today, 561-901-3333, or visit rickhasthebuyers.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Rosemary, branch manager at Cross Country Mortgage in Boca Raton. If you're deciding which lender to trust, whether you're purchasing or refinancing, I would love the opportunity to work with you. Over my 20-year career, I've helped close to 10,000 families buy or refinance the place they call home. Despite what you're hearing about interest rates, you might be surprised as what we can do for you. Let's talk. Call or text me at 954-312-3104 or visit rosemarymortgageteam.com.
If you're ready to buy or sell your home and would like to schedule an appointment with Rick, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, Rick Kendrick.
Welcome back from the break. This is the segment we're going to be talking to Eric Rosemary with Cross Country Mortgage. It's Christmas Eve, Eric, and the only way I could get you is by phone because I know you're with the family right now, but you gave us a few minutes here, and I appreciate that. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Rick, for asking. Thanks for having me on today.
Sure, man. So listen, Eric, I think it's been a pretty good year for us, and as our partnership continues to grow, it looks like we're continue to get buyers out there and get the house that they want. But, in retrospect, Eric, how's the market been treating you this past year?
It's been good. A little up and down with rates going to a 25-year high. Definitely hurt some of our business, especially our refinance business. But in the last month, rates dropped, I would say, about 0.5% to 1%. So really started to push the market forward a little bit. So it's been pretty good this past month.
Yeah, it's really amazing to me, too, how buyers out there are really just focused on interest rates. They really don't know there are many options that you have out there to offer them, maybe on a variable rate or something of that sort, or first-time buyer opportunities out there. But a lot of buyers, they say, well, interest rates are going up and I'm waiting for them to go down. But, it has been one of those years where it started off in that 6% range, am I right? And then it peaked up at 8, now it's back down to a 6 or a 7?
Exactly. Rates definitely in the middle of the year spiked up into the 8% range. I'm seeing a lot now of rates in the 6.5% to 7% range, depending on if you're paying points or not. You could even into the upper 5s. So rate definitely had a little turnaround, a little downtick for us. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, next year.
Yeah.
I anticipate rates are going to, go into the 5s by the summer.
Wow, that would be fantastic. And, I appreciate you and Sean and everybody there that have helped us go through this process where we've had an increase in rates and educating our outside sales agents on how to approach a buyer and showing them the many options that are out there as far as, going through that aspect of maybe putting a variable rate together. Or, hey, Eric, I'm just curious. So how's the situation with Hometown Heroes?
It's doing really well. The second round of funding is down to about $3.5 million. There was a big wave of about $2 million locked in the last week. So there's going to be some fallout, people canceling their contracts for variable reasons. So I think we're going to see funds available to, mid-January. And then from there, it'll be very, very limited funds available for Hometown Heroes. But the great thing, rates on Hometown Heroes is somewhere around 6.25 to 6.5, depending on the day right now.
Yeah.
That's real good. With the higher rates over the past year, A lot of other down payment assistance programs have come into play. Other first-time homebuyer programs have come into play. There's a lot of options out there when Hometown Heroes funds get depleted while we wait for them to re-up, so to speak, in July.
You know, it's funny. We actually are having a closing with you guys in a couple weeks. That first-time buyer, young guy, 25 years old, walking around and looking at the house, and he just looked like he had a deer in headlights type thing. You know, he just didn't know what to do, right? And so you had told us about the Hometown Heroes program and how the monies were available. And that day, we convinced him that, you know, he really needs to look at this house, but more importantly, he needs to be talking to you guys. And he got a hold of Sean, talked to Sean, went through the process to get pre-approved, and bang, man, you got. In fact, you guys are going to be closing on him, I guess next week sometime, right?
The 28th, he was clear to close today, so it was finalized this morning, and it's in closing, and that's a Hometown Heroes program. I believe he only had to bring $2,000 to closing to get it done out of his pocket. That was for everything. Buyers,
I want you to understand. Did you just hear what Eric said? Now, Eric with Cross Country Mortgage. I mean, Carrie and I have been very fortunate to work with Eric through the years here. And here it is, a week out before we're going to close, and the buyer already has a clear to close. In my years of experience in real estate, one of the most traumatic things is getting a mortgage, right, Eric? And they don't necessarily have to go through this process if they just supply you the documents. But, you know, the thing is that you guys are so effective in getting the documents and get them into underwriting. It's pretty important that they get all that information out there, right, Eric?
Yeah, correct. And that's one of the things that we do in advance is get all the documents that we need, get them fully pre-approved, sometimes even underwritten before they put a contract in so that they know what they're getting into going into it. They know what their payments are. They know what they're qualified for, and we're able to give that promise that we call the Rosemary promise to the realtor and to the seller. You know, we're going to make it to the finish line on this one, and we're most likely going to make it early.
So what's the Rosemary promise?
The Rosemary promise is that we're going to guarantee that we're going to get them closed by the closing date. We're going to pay them $5,000.
Wow, that's great. Hey, what's the other one that you have, Eric, that I really like? If somebody buys a house now and they're not happy with their interest rate, is there something available to them for the next 6 months or 8 months if they come back and refinance with you?
Yes, sir. We have our Buy Now, Refinance Later program, which will waive all our lender costs when they come back to us to do a refinance. So that means no processing fee, no underwriting, and 99% of the times it'll be no points.
Wow. I'm telling you, there's no reason for a buyer to be worried about interest rates. That is a variable here. Interest rates are going to vary, and the factor is the home price is going to continue to go up, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And when rates hit anything with a 5 in front of it, you're going to see about 3 million buyers nationwide that are sitting on the sidelines get back into the market. And you know, that's going to put a big influx into the market, which is going to drive prices up. You're going to see 10 and 15% increases in prices. We're going to see what happened in 2021 when people were paying $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 above list price. So what we tell you to do is take advantage of the prices now and then later on refinance. And there's a lot of things that we can do to help combat slightly higher interest rates. We know they've dropped over the past few weeks into the 6s, but we can give you a 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down. This allows you to get a 2 to 3% lower rate over the next year to 2 years so that you're effectively paying 4.5. If we give you a 3-2-1 buy down, that's 3% lower for the first year. If you're at 6.5%, that's like a 3.5% rate for your first year. And the great thing about it is you don't pay for that. The seller pays for that. So that's where Rick can come in, where you can come in and negotiate on the buyer's behalf to get that credit, to give them that 3-2-1 buy down. It's a temporary buy down. It's not paying points. It's a temporary buy down.
Right.
So it's a short-term 1 to 3 year buy down, depending on how much we can get you in credit from the seller.
Yeah, and the sellers have opened up the door where we can get those concessions for them. Hey, Eric, listen, I'd like to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. I appreciate you coming on. I know it's Christmas Eve. Say hello to the family for me. I know the Christmas tree's got gifts all under it already, and
not yet. Not yet. My son will tear them all open.
Yeah.
The gingerbread house you sent to the house the other day, he ate it all in probably one day.
That's great. Hey, listen, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming on, and have a Merry Christmas, Eric.
Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas to you guys, too, as well.
Take care. Hey, listen, so after the break, let's talk a little bit more about our feature listing of the week. I got a big one for you, and talk about our buyers in waiting program. And then more importantly, we're going to kind of give you an up-to-date on our Go Serve Big mission. This is Rick Kendrick with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. We'll be right back.
To schedule an appointment with Rick Kendrick to help you buy or sell your home, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Rick will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on News Talk 850 WFTL.
Hi, it's Jennifer Ross, and if you've been thinking about selling your home, you already know that the only agent that I would recommend to you is my friend Rick Kendrick. He's a broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty of Florida. Now, what about the listener who would love Rick to sell but doesn't want to deal with the headaches of cleaning, staging, holding open houses, and all that other stuff?
Well, Jen, we have the perfect solution. First of all, we always like to make our traditional home selling process stress-free, but for the listener who doesn't want to fix up their place, who has inherited a home or simply wants a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make them an immediate cash offer. And for that seller to get the most amount of money for their home.
Come on, you can do that.
Absolutely, Jen. We'll come right over, appraise a home, make you a fast, fair cash offer, and close as little as 3 weeks.
Cash in your hand, hard to beat it. Call Rick Kendrick right now, 561-901-3333. That's 561-901-3333. Or visit rickhasthebuyers.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Rosemary, branch manager at Cross Country Mortgage in Boca Raton. If you're deciding which lender to trust, whether you're purchasing or refinancing, I would love the opportunity to work with you. Over my 20-year career, I've helped close to 10,000 families buy or refinance the place they call home. Despite what you're hearing about interest rates, you might be surprised at what we can do for you. Let's talk. Call or text me at 954-312-3104 or visit rosemarymortgageteam.com.
If you're ready to buy or sell your home and would like to schedule an appointment with Rick, call 561-901-3333 or go to rickhasthebuyers.com. Now, back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, Rick Kendrick.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is our final segment. Listen, I really want to focus on a listing that we have in DeQuesta. Jim is the seller, and he's selling the house for his condo for his mother. It's in DeQuesta. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo, first floor unit, looking at water. It's in the Turtle Creek area. Carrie, this thing is really, really nice.
Yeah, it's a great unit. It's huge, spacious. If you are looking in the DeQuesta area, I would encourage you to take a look at this one.
Yeah, this one got over 2,800 square feet. Needs a little TLC. The condos in that community, it's not a big community. The condos in that community are like $800,000, and this one is going for $585,000. So buyers, you're out there, you're ready to go, you're ready to do something, this is going to be an ideal situation. So give me a call at 561-901-3333 and let me know if you have an interest. I'll be happy to show this thing to you. Hey, Carrie, let's talk about our Go Serve Big mission.
Yeah, so, Rick and I donate a portion of our income to charities throughout the Southeast. We'd like to just give a shout out to Little Smiles today, being that it's Christmas time of year. I'm sure that y'all have, seen the collection boxes throughout our area, maybe even participated in the boat show where they make a big push to collect toys for the local kids. So they've done great work.
Yeah, we actually collected some of those toys too for Little Smiles. It turned out really good. Hey, listen, thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I want everybody to just have a great Merry Christmas and hope that the new year comes around. It's going to be a great one for you. This is Rick Kendrick, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, serving the Southeast Florida coast, and our network extends from United States all the way to Canada. You can call me or text me at 561-901-3333. I'd like to thank Carrie. Hey, Carrie, thanks for coming. You throw the numbers to us and let us know what's happening. We look forward next week. Tune in every Sunday at 10 a.m. on 850 WFTL News Radio.
You've been listening to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with broker owner Rick Kendrick. Heard every Sunday morning here on News Talk 850 WFTL. Rick's company name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. To speak directly to Rick about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment. 561-901-3333. Or visit rickhasthebuyers.com. And mark your calendar to join Rick again next week at this same time for the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on News Talk 850 WFTL.